Okay. Right.
Okay, it's all you, big homie.
Okay. My name is Alika. I identify today as a sober alcoholic and drug addict today. I'm born and raised in Hawaii. I live in California now, but growing up in the state of Hawaii, alcohol is part of the culture. If you've ever been there, or if you are there, if you live there, you know somebody that's there. You know that alcohol is just part of the culture, and that's how I grew up. Nothing really wrong with drinking alcohol. It's like drinking water. I started drinking when I was 13 years old, and I got introduced to drugs when I was 15 years old. So I was in ninth grade, I believe. Yeah, I was right around ninth grade. First time I got drunk, and I got trashed on Coors Light. Believe it or not, it's kind of like drinking water now. And the reason for me, I was trying to like kind of think of why some people, they got so much trauma, so much pain, so much like, this is why I started drinking. This is why I started using drugs. Essentially, it was just really the effect that it produced for me. But what happened was for me, I had older cousins that lived with us, like, at certain times of my life. And as I got older, like, they lived with us again throughout high school. And I looked up to them, like these guys, my cousins, because my brother, he's 6 years older than me. So he went to a private school on another island on Oahu. He went to Kamehameha. And after that, he went straight up to California to college. So I would only see him during summer and stuff like that. So my older cousins, I would look up to them, and I want to be like them, and all of them, they're all extroverts. They're all kind of like the life of the party kind of thing. And me, I wasn't naturally, even to this day, naturally, I'm introverted. I'm very to myself. I was very shy, reserved, very timid until I found alcohol and I got drunk, and it made me feel like how I think they behave, how I think they look. Alcohol made me look better, or like, this is what I think, made me look better. I had more confidence. I could talk to all the chicks. I could everything about me was better. My confidence was just through the roof now. And the rest is pretty much history. So then drugs came along. I was 15 years old at a party down at the beach, and cocaine was put in front of me. And of course, like, I'm looking, like, all my, my cousins is over here. So like, everybody doing it, my friends, my cousins, everybody doing it. Okay, I'm gonna do it too. Because what I was trying to, I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be cared for. I wanted to be part of. I wanted to be one of the boys. All my older cousins. They was always beating people up. There was always, different chicks like every weekend and stuff. And like, I idolized that, and I wanted to be like that. But I had a big problem. I was introverted. See, they didn't need drugs and alcohol to be social, but I did. I really did. So, drugs and alcohol literally did for me what I could not do for myself. So kind of fast forward to take a little bit. I was probably about right around 18, 19, 20-ish, right around there, where I crossed the line over into full-blown addiction. At this point, once I started, I could not stop. I was drinking and using before that, basically like if I was like an alcoholic or a drug addict. But I can remember times where I actually stopped on my own accord. See, once I crossed that line, once I started, I could not stop. I just could not. But everybody else around me I was partying it was the same thing. So to me, okay, that's normal. Like, that's normal to be at the beach for 2 days drinking and doing cocaine. You know what I mean? Like, that was normal. It's how everybody parties over here, right? So that was normal to me. Like I would trip out like when my friends or a friend of a friend I met, I kind of know pretty well, where we're all partying, and then they're like, look at their watch, like, oh, bro, it's 10 o'clock. I got to go home at work tomorrow. Like, that's not normal. What do you mean you got to go home, bro? We're still getting 8 ball left. Like, what are you talking about? So I'll be like, okay, well, more for me or more for us, kind of thing. And, I learned, like, I have come to believe that addiction is a disease. It is an illness that affects us like no other human sickness can. I truly believe that. And, my life is proof of it. So, I keep doing the same thing. I'm partying. I didn't necessarily grow up in church. I started going to church when I was about like 14, 15. At that age, I was able to build a relationship with God, through his son that he sent. And so it's funny though, it's like I went from like, I had the red jersey on, and then I put the blue jersey on, and then all of a sudden at 15 years old, my addiction just rapidly just progresses, like unbelievable kind, and in such a short period of time. But so as I was getting older, I remember times, man, partying all night, and then I still, I got like maybe, I don't know, half a gram left, and it's the next day. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and my parents knocking on my bedroom door, "Wake up, we got to go to church." So I'm like, pretending I'm waking up, and I'm straight tweaking already though. I cannot even really talk. I have no emotion. I cannot smile. I cannot laugh. I cannot have a conversation with anybody. But because I was naturally introverted, my parents knew that, so that kind of covered that. That kind of covered it up for me. The like I was really high and just tweaking out. So I remember there was times I went to church, and I'm sweating. Hawaii is really hot. Hawaii is very, very hot and humid, and just sweating in church. And I get half a gram left. I go to the bathroom. I'm like blasting lines in church, and I just progressed. I couldn't hang on to a woman to save my life. Like literally. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not kidding. I could not hang on to a woman to save my life. My good looks, quote unquote, only could take me so far. Once these women figured out what I was really like, bam, they were gone. All of them before my wife said, "I do not." And looking back, I totally can see why. So since I was 15 years old as well, though, I always knew that I wanted to be a husband and I wanted to be a father. I don't know. That was just my biggest dream that I ever wanted. And it's still like that today. And I had a huge problem, though. All I could do was think about myself, what I want, where I want to go, what I want to eat, where I want to vacation, what car I want to buy, what store I want to go to, what beach I want to go surf at, what movie I want to go see. Literally, it was all about me. And women, they don't like that when it's all about you, and it's not about them. And then but over this time, I started to develop the certain way of thinking, and the certain behavior started to happen in me. I started to start lying a lot, and I'm not talking about like when I was drunk or high, I was lying. I'm talking about in a sober state of mind. I'm just lying. Like I was literally a habitual liar. I had a degree in deception, like full on, and I started to get better and better and better at lying and manipulating and stealing. But it always was to self. That's it. If I ever went out of my way to help somebody else, it didn't matter what it was. If I went out of my way, it is because I want something that you got. Like, whether it was this girl that I was fooling around with, or that I wanted to, and she need help moving, or whatever it is. Oh yeah, okay. But you can bend over after this is over, kind of thing. Like I'm gonna get something out of it. I never did help somebody out of the kindness of my heart, but I projected that's what it was coming off as. But it was all a lie. And then as soon as I get what I want, boom, I'm gone. And then when I want it again, I come back. I've used so many people. I've used so many women, had sex with so many women, and just that's all I wanted. But that's not what I was saying. That's not what I was coming out of my mouth, because I knew that I wanted to be married and to be a father. But some women, I was like, "Oh, not to you, though. Definitely not to you. Maybe you. Oh, yes, you. But I can only think about me. So she is gone now." Let's see. So I kept this thing a secret as well from my immediate family for 20 years. I was active in addiction for 20 years. That's 2 decades of my life. And in 20 years, you get very good in lying. You get very good at it. Or I did anyway. So, they just, again, I just started to progress. Lying all the time, stealing. I would steal from my grandma when she was still alive. Like we party all night. Oh, run out of money. We need more money to get dope. I'll tell my friend, "Oh, drive me to my house." My grandma, I wait till she's in the shower. I go to her purse, grab her ATM card. I knew her code because she would always ask me to go store, go, to McDonald's, buy her food and all this stuff. So I knew the code. And then boom, I'll go grab money. Boom, the party's going on again now. And kind of fast forward the tape a little bit more, like in my mid to late 20s. I mean, I'm full blown addict, alcoholic, full blown like disease of addiction all over me. I'm just totally unaware of it. See, prior to addiction, prior to crossing that line, I had a substance abuse problem. Substance abuse and disease of addiction is not the same. So full blown addict, full blown alcoholic, and something I've learned about this disease is that the root cause of it stems from me being selfish and self-centered, self-seeking, self-reliant, like self everything. It just revolves around self. So fast forward the tape. So in about, I think 2012, I moved to Oahu. I get a job there as a valet in Waikiki. And was about a month into it. One of the guys there that was the bellman, he was the cocaine dealer. And he showed me one day this pouch. I thought he was kidding, but here, smell it. I smelled it. I was like, oh, bro, you're not kidding. And man, at that time, I was thinking, okay, I'm getting my life back together. I'm not partying as much. I'm not doing this and doing that. Because I've had like these little moments of sobriety, that was very, very short-lived. So I progress even faster and more now. Because this is the kind of drug dealer he was. I'll buy one 8-ball and he'll go, oh, bro, yeah, I front you one too. Yeah, take this too. Because he knew I make cash tips. I'll be able to pay him like after every shift, every day. And of course, I'm not going to say no. I say, oh, no. And I'm a lie on top of lie of why I'm calling out from work. And I cannot, and at a certain point, my boss, all the employees, not just my department, like everybody knew that I was on drugs all the time, So I call it off work so much. And I'm thinking, man, I worked at 3 p.m., 3 to 11. So it was about noon. And I'm thinking, man, what am I going to tell my boss now? What am I going to say? What excuse? I use all kind of dumb excuses already. So what I decided to do is punch myself in my eye as hard as I can, as long as I can, like as fast as I can. And until my eye was just swollen shut. And what I did, I took a picture of my face, I sent it to him. I told him what happened. Well, I didn't tell him what happened. I told him I made up a lie. Again, habitual liar. So I told him that I got into a fight with my dad, and this is what happened. So I cannot come to work. So he said, okay, but sooner or later that kind of way of thinking, it caught up with me. I got fired from that job, and I ended up meeting this girl, moved to Canada because Oahu is the problem now. I got to get out of this place, move to Canada on the other side of the world. I just abused this relationship with this woman. I never physically abused her, but I jacked her up mentally. As addicts, alcoholics, we think like once we get into recovery, like we start to recover, we recover from that like seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, and our brain starts to heal itself and we start to recover. But I never really gave too much thought to all the people that I did damage to. They have no program. What about them? When I make amends to certain people, but anyway, so okay, well, who's the problem? Moved to Canada. Okay, now the girl is the problem. I'm out. I got to go back to Hawaii. So I was there for almost 6 months, about 6 months. Came back to Hawaii, jumped into business with my parents, and I blew up, man. I got my license. I made a career out of it. I did it for years, and at a certain point, even if I wasn't there, I still made money. The money was still coming in, and I'm like, that's so dangerous, man, for a drug addict and alcoholic. And long story short, my mom, she got diagnosed with cancer a couple times, and then she got kidney failure. She was on dialysis for a year. She got the call that she got the new kidney up in San Francisco. So that's what brought me to California, where I live now. My mom got her surgery. She got the new kidney, and I was like, I ain't going back to Hawaii. My dad sold the business because my mom was sick, so he just sold it. So I have no ties to Hawaii. And I'm like, I am not going back because all I can see is all the people I hurt, the women I used, all the drug dealers I owe money to, all the places I just humiliated myself, tweaking out and or being drunk and acting dumb and all that, that's all I could see. I was like, oh, heck no, I never going back to Hawaii. And so, again, my behavior is still the same. My thinking is still the same. I was living with my sister in Rancho Cucamonga. I kept lying, all kind of crazy lies of what I was doing, where I was going. I basically got caught in a lie. And my deep, dark secret that I kept over here away from everybody was finally came out into the light. But because I lied to my sister so much, when the truth finally came out, she didn't believe me. But when I was, because like this is what my thoughts was this. After my addiction, I made a decision. I'm either gonna die from it or I'm gonna die with it. That's it. Because I've tried fighting back against just that first thought. I mean, I was no competition. This thing would just run me over like a Mack truck. And then, okay, I think about it, boom, I gotta go do it. And then it's like this allergic reaction happens in me where once I start, I cannot stop. So the truth came out, and that like drugs and alcohol gave me like this kind of ease and comfort. It gave me, and when my deep dark secret came out of the dark into the light, it was that same ease and comfort that I felt that drugs and alcohol gave me. It's no longer a secret. It's out in the open. Now I can deal with it. I can seek out help. I can do stuff. And it reminds me of I always give this example, like if you go into a dark room and you turn on the light, you ever notice that the dark never fights with the light to stay dark? It's instantly gone. That's exactly how it was like for me when my secret of hiding this addiction over here away from everybody came out into the light. And so now that it was in open, I was able to seek out help. I tried to go into treatment. I was calling different treatment centers for beds, rehabs. I couldn't get into any of them. So I started going to 12-step meetings. And the lady that worked at one of the Alano clubs, she told me that she has a friend that runs a sober living. So I got in touch with him, boom, went into sober living, and a 12-step program. And I started to learn a lot about myself. Working the steps, it was just amazing, and my very first meeting, I meet this guy. He buys me my book. He tells me, here, call this guy. Bam, that guy became my sponsor 4 days later. And I'm on the road to recovery now. I'm starting to learn about myself. I've learned so much about myself working the steps. It's just unbelievable how it works. I don't want to get too detailed about this, but I'll just kind of tell you guys. For me, one of the my fourth step, making a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. Whew, that one set me free, man, because I was a victim. Like when I got to my inventory on resentments, all the way up until a certain part, I look it on paper, it's so justifiable. It is totally like I could show it to somebody and they go, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. However, there's that one section, the very end, where I got to talk about what my part in it was. Because whether it was 1% or 99%, in all my resentments, I had a part to play in it. So I got to see my truth. You know what? It exposed who I really was. I mean, like I found out, man, I'm not the nice guy I thought I was. I literally thought I was a nice guy, like literally. And I was like, wow, I really am not the nice guy I thought I was. After completing my entire fourth step, I stopped cutting myself and blaming the knife already. I was able to take responsibility for where I was at in my life for the first time ever. I was 33 years old when that happened. And so much freedom I got from that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, leading up to making amends. That was some more freedom. But honestly, for me personally, I got more freedom. It's just me out of my fourth step, then the ninth step, cleaning my side of the street. And then, I try to do my best to just 10, 11, 12 every day. My sponsor told me, look, if you a 10, 11, 12 will prevent a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so I'm like, okay, I got you. That makes sense, and since I completed my fourth step, it was about almost 3 years ago. Since that day, I have never, ever, ever copped a resentment toward anybody because I understood it. I understand it is infinitely grave. It is fatal. It is poison for somebody like me. I can literally lose my life off of resentment. A drug or alcohol don't have to even be involved. Was very clear for me, so that's another thing that God helps me to do because I cannot do that all in my own strength. I really cannot, and fast forward a lot more now. In the middle of the pandemic last year, I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people that's in recovery because I was already doing it. I was sponsoring. I was doing H&I panels. I was speaking all over the place. I love doing that. And like everything shut down, I thought, wow, I'll create another page on Instagram called Pro Recovery Power. So that's what I started to do. And then I started to think, I'm going to start going live with other addicts and other alcoholics, telling their story, inspiring hope, because one thing, like the government can shut down everything, but one thing that they cannot shut down and one thing will never shut down is social media. So there's a lot of people on social media all around the world that struggle with drug and alcohol abuse, you know? I mean, in 2019, 760,000 people in the United States died as a direct result of this disease of addiction. You know, death is inevitable, but death due to this addiction is preventable, 100% preventable. So I started this. I started going live with other addicts, other alcoholics. And then I had the thought, wow, like, I don't know, I feel like God put this dream in my heart. And I was thinking, wow, I can reach people on a bigger level if this is a nonprofit organization. So I'm literally right now in the middle of turning Pro Recovery Power into a nonprofit organization to reach the masses who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction, you know, to help them out of the dark into the light and recover from their addiction. And we started, you know, I started making recovery clothing. I got in touch with Johnny. Johnny was on your guys' show too. With Johnny, I did an interview there at the shop in Pasadena with Team 12. Then boom, I met Nick. He's the owner of Team 12. He makes recovery clothing himself. And I made, like, God just opened so much doors. Boom, 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 doors flying open, you know, for me. Because I really, really, really do have a heart for helping other people. You know, I was told, and I agree with this, that, you know, we're never more like God than when we're helping hurting people. I mean, addicts, specifically addicts and alcoholics, they got a special place in my heart, man. I will never get tired of carrying this message, ever. I can literally do this kind of stuff all day. I mean, I can, but my wife doesn't let me. Like we talked, like earlier, I was talking with Willie earlier about being balanced. You know, we got to have a balanced life. I believe that this disease of addiction gave me a purpose to carry this message to other people that's sick and suffering, you know. So with Pro Recovery, and then, I'm sorry, I forgot this part. I became a substance abuse counselor. And then I went on to get my degree in substance use disorder counseling. So with PRP, the mission, the vision behind it, it's, see, the recovery clothing, the YouTube page, going live with other alcoholics, our website. These is all tools to get me in front of the person that's sick and suffering. Because when I do those one-on-ones or groups or whatever it is, that's where I thrive. I have been told that I'm a really good teacher, because in my past career, I had to teach a lot of classes, at the public speak. And I got better at that, you know, but it's amazing, man. Like, what was meant for my harm, God took it and he turned it into good. You know, I honestly do not hate drugs. I do not hate alcohol, because if it wasn't for that, this purpose, they wouldn't have got birthed in me. And I wouldn't be just have such a passion for recovery, for helping other people's, and a passion to grow, you know, grow along spiritual lines. But like, even in my finances, in my relationship with other people, my marriage, not just my recovery. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Somebody was just trying to call me. You know, things like that, you know, it's amazing. So I'm just so excited about my future and you know, what God will do with me in it, you know, because honestly, I'm just his vessel. My way wasn't working. My will wasn't working. It's amazing how God he let me run in my will for 20 years. He said, okay, go ahead, no problem. You know, but honestly, I got to this point where I'm at today, literally by doing it somebody else's way, by taking suggestions and following directions, you know, and that has totally just transformed and just sent the whole trajectory of my life in a whole nother direction. And I'm so glad that my heart is still beating, that I'm still here. You know, this world will know I was here before I leave. Like I know it, you know, I got such a big drive and passion and purpose that just pushes me, you know. But thank you guys so much for letting me share. That's my story. Okay. Sorry, I hope my throat was a bit dry, but I have to drink some water. Okay. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, Pro Recovery Power. Okay. So if you guys want to check out Pro Recovery Power, you guys want to know what it's all about, you can reach us on Instagram at Pro Recovery Power. So there's Pro_Recovery_Power. You can also go to our website, which is ProRecoveryPower.com, and check out what we're all about. You guys can see our vision, what we're going to do for the communities, what we are doing. You know, COVID kind of put a halt to some of these things, which is okay, you know. So I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I got. Also, our YouTube page, you can check us out there, Pro Recovery Power, right there on YouTube. But thank you guys again so much for everything.